Howdy everyone, Guy here, just about to do a little midday or mid-afternoon session on a weekend. Ran 10k this morning, legs are a bit heavy, but it was good. I'm starting to get a little bit more capacity back. Let me just start this session. So I'm going to do a little bit of just a mixture of stuff that's in, God, I can't even get my watch working. It's in the event that I'm doing soonish. Well, I'm actually doing a run through of a Hyrox in September, but also doing this event called the Paladin in November, which has got a few of the movements that I'm doing now. I guess the idea for this session is I wasn't going to do one. I haven't been doing 2 sessions a day for a very long time, but I'm still exploring some of my fitness capacity and trying to rebuild that. Being a former pro, I used to train 3 times a day, probably too much to be honest, but those ideas are well and truly in my past. But I'm trying to find out where my capacity is for exercise at the moment, given that I'm older now and I do need time to recover. One of the best things I ever heard was for adaptation, for training, is to do the bare minimum amount of work that gives you an adaptation. So if you think about it, you know, if you're not in real good nick, you don't need to do a lot of work, but if you're a exceptionally good athlete, you've got to do a hell of a lot of work, and that's probably why you see a lot of elite athletes doing so much work to get some adaptation, just to get that extra bit out of their body and force their body to repair and adapt to the new stimulus. But it's a weird one when you're older, when you're a former elite athlete, I guess, and this goes for even if you weren't that. If you're just out of shape, it's like, where does that bare minimum lie? That's the big question, and that's what a good coach should be able to establish for you. When you see these PTs getting new people in, just flogging the absolute shit out of them, and they're going well beyond what's just enough to get an adaptation, and they're very sore, very tired, very unmotivated to go back and do it again. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people think if they don't feel that way, they haven't got their money out of the PT, which is quite the opposite. But the magic lies in, you know, what is enough. Give that adaptation. So I'm personally at that zone now. Like, I was tired today. I just had a whole morning out watching my daughter dancing and taking my 84-year-old mum around to watch, and taking her out to do her shopping, and I found it a little bit challenging because I was a little bit tired from training this morning, the last few days, which is a classic sign of overtraining. But here I am, training again, because do as I do and not as I say, as a lot of people will tell you. So I'm just going to push it out a little bit more, but my goal for this session is to just do these cardio link-ups, the run and the row, at a more zone 2 capacity, and then a little bit of muscle conditioning and the exercises in between. So I might not bore you with any more of this shit. I'll just get into it, maybe a time lapse, and I'll call back in a little while and tell you how it's going. But, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Well, the next one's 50 ground overhead, 20 kilo plate. Don't have a 20 here. I've got a 25 up the top of the yard here. I'll go get it. And then I'm going to do 75 goblet squats with just with a kettlebell, just a 16, and a 500 run. So just trot up here and get my plate, put this on time lapse. 40 into the 75 squats. I can't gobble it squatting. Arms are too done from the 25 kilo ground overhead. Managed to do them unbroken. Last 10 I really had to use that hip thrust, hip extension to motivate that plate over the head. I've lost count. Let's call it 50, 25 to go. Put it down. 15 to go. Get that range. Keep losing count. Trying to think of witty things to say. Let's do 7 more. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, on to a 500 metre run. Oh yeah, legs. Woo. See if the legs can come good. Now this is where the aerobic training and the ability to consume that lactic acid comes into play. You it's the turkey with the Harley that leaves at 6 a.m. in the morning. But yeah, if you develop that mitochondria, you should be able to consume that lactic acid at a much higher rate of work before you become lactic, and then unavoidably become lactic in some of those workouts. Like the couple that I just did. But that ability to clear that lactate needs to be well trained. So runs like these are possibly slow. So that little bit of aerobic work I've been doing lately starting to come up. It's my turn around, the ugly letterbox. So the legs are coming good. I wasn't trying to talk to you guys, but the idea was that I recover in these runs and bring my heart rate back down to a zone 2. So let's not get carried away. Remember what we said at the start. All right, I'll sign off for the minute until I get back. Okay, so that ability to deal with the lactic acid is getting better, and that's purely based on my aerobic fitness getting better, so more zone 2 work, which is interesting. So pay attention to that. If you've got a good coach, they'll tell you how that works. Don't go shorting on that long, slow distance stuff. Just about due now. I'm going to do 100 metre walking lunge with 20 kilo barbell. Won't bore you with the real time. I'll go time lapse again. Alright, walking lunges, man, they are hard. I've been learning not to overstride during those, just to avoid that extra leverage and putting more on the quad. I'm really quad dominant, terrible at activating my glutes, so I struggle a bit there with just overloading my quads. But if I train enough, they can handle it and recover. If I don't train, big legs, just big oxygen sapping bastards. So must train. So doing about it. I've got a broken C2 rower. The clock doesn't work, so I just do 4 minutes. Again, just trying to work on efficiency and getting that zone 2 heart rate, in this instance, get it back down to zone 2. A lot better than I was 7 weeks ago when I did my first ever Hyrox in a team. Luckily I had plenty of experience at knowing when I'm accumulating too much lactic acid and not going out too hard, but unfortunately my lactate threshold point was quite low, so hence time wasn't super fast, but that's the whole reason for training, right? What we did do in the team event was manage that inevitable lactate build-up in the workout stations. So as soon as that lactate and heart rate started to rise, you bail out of that activity wherever possible and let your teammate jump in, and that way managing your lactate accumulation or that change in your blood acidity level. And we managed to do that pretty well. One thing we probably should have done is go a bit harder and throw that theory out the window in the wall balls, because we were so cautious throughout to monitor those levels that we kept doing it through the wall balls rather than knowing that you just had to stumble to the finish line at the end of the wall balls and not just going for it. A point that my partner Nick made after we finished. Very valid point. So just give it what you got in that wall ball. Stumble to the finish line. What do we got next? I'm going to do 15 kilo plate thrusters. Then go up the top there and get my 24 kilo kettlebells, do a 200 meter kettlebell carry, then finish with a 500 run. A couple more minutes on here. I'll promise to edit this out. Right, 15 kilo plate thrusters. Whoosh. Plate thrusters. Thrusters suck, full stop. Oh, there goes the hat. There goes mum broken. Standing by me. Fuck. Alright. Going up top. Gotta get the kettlebell carry now and finish off. You can get into a rhythm with those thrusters, but it's a high output, high heart rate rhythm. Just try and keep moving. Oh, that was horrible. So, couldn't even go unbroken. 200 with 24s, but a bit of fatigue on board, I guess. Anyway, last run. It's been good. Glad I did it. I'm better for it. I probably need to focus on some recovery. Hopefully not pull up too bad. Tomorrow morning I can do a zone 2 run again. Well, we'll see. Upper body's feeling it. Whew. See you at the end. There you have it, done. So theories around the running for Hyrox, I really think over 8 kilometres, even at a 55, 59 age group, for me, I need to get my 10k back down to about 40 minutes, so 4-minute Ks. My long runs should be 16 Ks or 10 miles if you're in America. 10 miles to even up to 20k. Yeah, look at someone like James Kelly, he ran an amazing, I think it was Sunshine Coast Marathon the other day, obviously racing opens, but something like a 2:37, which is phenomenal for an all-round athlete. That's pretty damn good. So yeah, for an age grouper for 55s, I think if I can do a 10k at 40 minutes, it'd be great. But first of all, I've got to get to 5k. The trick to that is really extending your runs out at your zone 2 heart rate and keeping an eye on the metrics. So keep an eye on your speed versus your heart rate. And once those metrics split apart, so if you have to increase your heart rate to maintain the speed, your speed and your heart rate are split apart, those two metrics, or conversely, if you maintain the speed, if you maintain your heart rate and the speed slows down. So if you work out how far you can get until that happens, let's say your first run, that happens at 4k, keep building zone 2 work until you can extend that out, and you're going to want to be able to do, for me personally, I'm going to need to be able to do zone 2 for 20k and have enough endurance in my body to be able to maintain that pace and heart rate for about that time, so maybe for an hour and a half. Yeah, so that's sort of a good rule of thumb for me, I use personally. Once you get out, you've got to pick a number. So I've trained athletes, national champion, 2k beach run champ, Sam McAuliffe, same thing, coming back from injury. I said get yourself to 10 or 12k before your metric split, before we even think about doing any sort of heart rate threshold or high intensity intervals. So just getting that conditioning right first, and then moving into the higher heart rate stuff. And you've got to use that sparingly as well, because it takes a fair bit to recover. Got a few rules around that, which I won't get into now, but that's the session for today, and thanks for watching. Hopefully you learnt something along the way, got a bit of motivation. Please subscribe and follow along. I'm Guy Andrews. Have a great weekend.